hate sanding. I absolutely hate it. But after you've done it, after you've done the horrible sanding bit, you then get to make it look pretty with nice paint. And if you don't do the sanding, the pretty paint won't stay pretty, and it'll be a complete waste of time. Now, I'm not a body shop person. You know, I just do stuff on a budget at home with probably all the wrong stuff, but I get by and I get nice compliments. So anyway, I've been sanding this inner wing. I'll move the camera down. I've been sanding this inner wing, and it must have had a bad repair in the past. It's had a really crap plate just sort of bodged on it, but I'm not going to touch it. It's not rusty, so I'm just going to paint over it, you know, and wish it wasn't there. But all along here is all sort of bad paint in bad condition, you know, sort of lumpy, patchy. A bit of rust under there, a bit of surface rust underneath the paint, you know, so if you feel along the paint, you feel some knobbly bits, it's probably rust hiding under the paint. So I've had to go along. I've got this 40 grit sandpaper, very abrasive. So if I find any lumpy bits, I try and give them a good gouge. And I say, probably doing it the wrong way. I give it a good gouge, and you find there's rust underneath. Once you've gouged a lot of the rust off with the abrasive stuff, I normally use 80 grit actually, but I've run out. Again, budget, crap stuff. So once I've sort of got all the rust lumpiness off, I then use these 320. I've got these sticky discs for a sander machine, but I can't get a machine down here in this inner wing. So I just use them by hand. I've been sanding all of this by hand. So once you've got the lumpy rust off, you want to make it smooth. And the best way to check if it's smooth is by touch, by fingertip. So that's a lot better now. And not only is it smoother, but you know you've sort of scraped all that rust off. If it's smooth, and you can see a bit of orange, bit of rust, try and sand it off anyway. Or you can use a rust inhibitor like crust, hammerite crust, or genolite, something like that. And I just do it by hand. Although this looks patchy, when you run your hand over it's actually smooth. So once you get the primer on, you shouldn't be able to see any of that. It should be nice, smooth finish. Now I've been going along here. Now this bit's horrible. That really needs some more scraping, but oh, it's back breaking it is. Now I've got to get down here and do all these niggly bits. I sort of prepped this area now. That's nice and smooth. Nice and smooth up here, along the edge. This is, again, it's got some funny paintwork going on here with all these lines. Can't really feel them, which is the important thing. Sort of. I might just give it another sand. And that's where that fuel bowl bolts onto. And the brake fluid reservoir. Brake fluid reservoir, I've sanded a little bit. I mean, really it needs a new one. But I think I'll just black it with hammerite and stick it back on for now and leave that job for another day. It's not leaking, just a bit around the lid. It probably could do with a new seal in the lid. Something funky going on in this corner. So I'll probably try and clean this up a bit better. I don't know, obviously a bit missing there, but oh well. Well, my flash is turned off. I don't know why. I think, oh, the phone's getting hot, that's why. I'm hot holding it. Hot stuff. So anyway, I just thought I'd go through that sanding process. So sand it till it's nice and smooth to touch and there's no rust. And then get some panel wipe, degreaser. And make sure you get all of the dust off. Any oil, brake fluid, that'll all come off with the degreaser, panel wipe stuff. And just make sure you get all that off, and obviously mask up everything you don't want turning black or red, because I'm using red oxide primer to go with the old-fashioned red primer. So yes, wish me luck, Captain. That's the worst bit down there. I'll cut back in when I've made some more progress. Right then, so sanding is completed. The area's all masked up. Just the area I'm spraying in. The rest of it is fine. And it didn't come out that bad. Let's get the torch on. I'm going to see what's going on. So, although it looks like I've missed a few things in here, it looks like, oh, why didn't she mask that up? Because that and that was black, but it was all chipped. So I thought, sod it, let's sand it all down and paint it all at the same time, and just mask up the bits I don't want to be painted. So, like, this was rusty and it looked horrible, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to black it. And the steering box underneath, I could have masked it up, but it won't hurt to get a splash of black on that. I haven't degreased the steering box there, so any paint that does splash on it will probably just wipe off one day. I didn't bother painting the brake fluid reservoir because it's had a bit of a wee. It's weed on the paper there because it's at an angle and the lid's rubbish. I didn't want the brake fluid to get on the new paint, so hopefully it'll just soak into that paper and I'll paint it separately when it's stopped having a wee. So yes, I'm not worried about nuts and bolts going black out down there. As long as it's all protected, I'm happy. Bit awkward to get down here. I'm just going to sort of wax oil that and hope for the best from underneath, I think. No, it's hard to get in all these little nooks and crannies, but I didn't do too bad. Blacked most of it up. Well, primered it, shall I say. I've done all the front bit here. All ready for the black to go on. So it's not a bad finish, that. Not bad. There's that horrible plate and that funky bit up there, but I've just sanded it down and put this red oxide on just that bit, because I'll do that bit another day when I've got the bonnet off. There's no point in doing it all at once, in my eyes, because otherwise it becomes a massive project and you don't get to drive the car. At least once I've got all this side back together, I know I can fire her up and go for a drive for a couple of days before I do the next bit. That's what I like to call a freshtoration, because I'm not doing a full restoration, I'm just freshening her up and protecting her. A few bits in here. I'll just flash the black around, make it look pretty. And yes, onwards to doing the air filter. I can paint that next. Right, I shall see you in the next clip, and there's probably going to be some black around. It might look like the other side. Should be nice. So that's all for this video. I decided to stop today and get on with some other things. And hopefully next week I'll be back on it. I'll probably get the black on the inner wing tomorrow. And then I'll do the air filter and bits next week. Well, thanks for watching. Hope it's helped, like my cat has. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!